Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be tackling parenting plan options, all those different scheduling approaches you hear about out there.
Yeah,
Um, and we're going to really break them down so you can kind of find your way through all this sometimes confusing world, right?
absolutely.
We're going to look at the pros and cons and
Yeah.
maybe even some of the, I don't know, the less talked about aspects of all these different plans.
Right.
So are you ready to dig in?
Oh, I am so ready. And, even if you're not going through a separation yourself right now, this is
Hmm.
it's good information to have. You could be a friend who's like, "Hey, I know a little something about that," instead
Right.
of just like, "Oh, that's rough."
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, 2255. Let me tell you about it.
Right. There you go.
Yeah. Instead of just the wine and chocolate.
Exactly.
Although that's good too.
Oh, always. Always.
Um, but okay, so speaking of schedules,
Mhm.
let's start with what's probably the most familiar to people, right? That traditional schedule,
Yeah, but kind of like the classic
the
one.
classic,
Yeah.
like the one that pops into your head when you
Yeah.
think about it.
One parent is kind of the home base,
Yeah.
and the other parent gets the weekends, maybe like a Wednesday night dinner visit.
Yeah. And this one, it makes sense, especially when maybe parents live further apart or
Yeah.
there are like,
Yeah.
really intense job schedules.
Exactly. But it can be tricky because, some of the research shows that kids in those situations can feel like visitors in the non-primary parent's home.
Right. And you want both places to feel like home
Exactly.
to the child.
Yeah.
So then there's that 2255, which I think is really gaining in popularity.
Well, I think so too.
And it's this idea that you divide the week up a little bit more evenly. So Monday and Tuesday with one parent, Wednesday and Thursday with the other, and then the weekends alternate back and forth.
Yeah.
And it just seems like a win-win.
It does. And from a developmental standpoint for kids, it makes a lot of sense. Because you're able to get that like routine
Yes.
that they really thrive on, but they're also getting that extended time with each parent so that they can build those deeper connections.
Right. And each parent gets to be more involved in like the day-to-day,
Absolutely.
the school stuff and, all those details.
Totally.
Okay, I like that one. But then you've got 223, which is like constant switching.
Yes. The weekly switcheroo.
Yeah. I mean, the benefit is you're never more than 3 days away from your kid.
Right. Right. Exactly.
I just pictured toddlers like clinging to legs as the parents like swap car seats or something.
Absolutely. That really frequent contact can
Yeah.
be really important, especially for those very young children.
Yeah.
They might not quite get the concept of time yet
Mhm.
in the same way that an older kid does.
Makes sense.
And so that consistent back and forth can help maintain that sense of like security for them.
Yeah, that consistency is key.
Mm.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum, you've got week on, week off,
Yeah.
which seems like it's made for teenagers.
Yes.
Like grab your backpack, grab your Xbox, see you in a week.
Exactly. And, for them, they can kind of settle into a routine with each parent, which can be really important as they're developing their independence and all that.
Right. But yeah, for a little one, a week can feel
Yeah.
like forever.
Oh, it can. And that's where you get the I miss mommy, I miss daddy.
Yeah, all the tears.
Yeah.
Okay, now for the one that I think is the most fascinating and maybe a little intimidating.
Yeah.
Nesting.
Oh, yeah. That's a really interesting one.
This is where the kids stay put in the family home
Yeah.
and the parents are the ones that rotate in and out.
Yeah.
It's like a really, really high stakes game of musical chairs.
It really is, and it can be a really good strategy, especially like right after a separation, because it allows that stability for the kids. It minimizes the disruption in their lives.
Yeah,
But oh my gosh, logistically, it is a nightmare.
it's intense.
You've got two sets of everything. You've got to coordinate schedules. I mean, it's definitely not for the faint of heart.
That is an advanced level parenting plan right
Yeah.
there. But you know what? I think the important takeaway here is that none of these are set in stone.
100%.
Like you can take pieces of different ones, you can adapt, you can create what works for your unique family.
Absolutely. Because a parenting plan isn't about, winning or losing.
Right.
It's about figuring out what works. It's a roadmap. And sometimes you got to take detours.
Exactly. And things change. Like your kids grow up.
Yeah.
Circumstances change. Jobs change.
Right.
I mean, the key is like open communication and being willing to
Right.
be flexible, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So to wrap all this up, I think the goal isn't just about the schedule, right? It's about creating a healthy relationship between the child and both of their parents.
So well said. Schedules are important, but they're really just the framework. It's what you build inside of that framework, that emotional connection, the quality time, that consistent support. That's what makes all the difference.
That's such a great point. And I think, on that note, it makes me think, how do these different schedules impact the parents' ability to co-parent well? We didn't even get into that, but I think that's worth thinking about.
That's a great question.
So we'll leave you with that to ponder. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yes. Thanks, everyone.